think Ben's mindset is he's focused on 2021, as we all are. And I think we all go into it and we focus now. We see where things lead, but beyond that, none of us know. And obviously, Ben's in the back end of his career. He was terribly disappointed the way we ended, the way he ended. And, shortly after the end of the season, he came to us and said, listen, I want to be back. Of course, we had to work out some things contractually. And honestly, he set off a nice little surge for us because we had several players that were able to come back to us. But Ben led the way by taking that pay cut.
Kevin Colbert, GM of the Steelers from last week on PFTPM. That pay cut was $5 million that Ben Roethlisberger gave up in order to create some cap space, allow the team to maneuver, allow the team to bring back receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, among other business they needed to do. And, Chris, we were all over this, I think, as it unfolded, the idea that the Steelers convinced themselves, we can do this. We're not that far away. We're much closer to winning a Super Bowl than we are to being a 4-13 team. Still to get it right.
Oh my
17
gosh,
games. 4-13 or 5-12 as the case may be. But and some of that is delusional, maybe. I don't know. Ben Roethlisberger's got to stay healthy all year. Can he? I don't know. Can the Steelers muster anything in their running game? I don't know. They drafted Najee Harris in the first round, but are they going to have the blocking for him? I don't know. But the real question, and Kevin Colbert admitted this, nobody knows whether or not this is Ben Roethlisberger's last year. I think if they would win the Super Bowl, he would do the Jerome Bettis walk-off into the sunset thing. But anything short of that, I just don't know. And I think they don't know, and I think he doesn't know.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, I agreed. I mean, if they go to the Super Bowl and win, that might be it. But, I think the status of Big Ben is predicated on all the other things you said, Mike. They're the team and where they are. Can they run? Can Najee Harris actually do some stuff that way? Can the O-line and guys that were injured last year and now, they drafted 2 rookies in the mid-rounds of this draft. Can they help out the team immediately right now? Can they play that style? If they could play that style of football that you and I have talked about from the get-go here, right, of that Buccaneers football, then I go Big Ben is going to play 2 more years because it's not going to be on him every week to have to do stuff and drop back 45 times a game and make all the throws. But, as we've said, if they can get this O-line, together and become somewhat of a force, it's unbelievable how many parallels there are to really the Buccaneers. It really is. Top-notch defense, guys in the front 7 that are mean, nasty, and fly all over the field. Weapons galore at wide receiver. Hard to match up with all the guys they got, right? And then if they can just get that O-line power run game aspect of their team, in line, to where teams now have to whoa, we got to bring a safety down. Whoa, we can't play nickel. We got to be in a base defense and stop the run game. Oh, no. Now we're one-on-one with Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool because we're worried about stopping the run game. If they can get teams to start playing football that way against them, they're going to be a beast. They will be, but it's the big thing is, can they dominate the line of scrimmage? Can they protect Big Ben? And, yeah, can he stay healthy is the big questions. I think you're spot on there.
OurLads.com does a great job of keeping all of the NFL depth charts updated as changes are made during the offseason. And you look at the Steelers' starting offensive line.
Yeah, read it off.
Oh, my God. Well, other than David DeCastro and Zach Banner, it's who are these guys? Chukwuma Okorafor, Kevin Dotson, he's been around, and J.C. Hassenauer. Look, these are guys who are not household names in Pittsburgh, much less around the National Football League, who are going to be coming in to try to create the running lanes for Najee Harris and the pass protection for Ben Roethlisberger, period. DeCastro is it. He's the one guy who's left over that you can say, oh, yeah, DeCastro, he's been part of this Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line that's been better than average for the past several years. Now it's work in progress. Alejandro Villanueva, gone. Marquise Pouncey, retired. A lot of work to do. Kevin Filer signs with the Chargers, a guy that, doesn't jump, a name that doesn't jump out, but a guy who spent a lot of time on the field, starting in multiple positions over the past couple of years for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's where the eggs are in the basket.
Definitely.
With the offensive line. If that offensive line works, okay. If it doesn't, not okay.
No, I know. It is going to be the key, and I think the thing we watch for to just see what they can be as a football team. And plus, listen, with that defense, it makes no sense not to play a style of football where you run the ball, control the clock a little bit. It makes sense for your quarterback, one, and the age and the part of his career he's at. But two, I just think if you're going to play complementary football, the Steelers, you want to keep their defense, you want to keep that defense fresh, flying around. Yeah, run the ball, got a great defense, make it really hard for another offense to whoa, the pressure's on us. We don't have the ball a lot. They're running out the clock on the other side of the ball. They just got to find a way to play complementary football. Last year it made no sense. They were playing defense, at a pretty high level, but they were playing offense like they had no defense, and they were dropping back to throw the ball every play. And they went through too many periods of the year where, as good as the defense was, they were put in spots where it was the offense has thrown the ball 3 times in a row, first, second, and third down, and now you guys are back on the field. There was only 12 seconds that ran off the game clock, and now you're back on. And now they put a drive together and got a field goal. Your offense came back out again, and Big Ben and company threw the ball 3 straight times again, and we're on the field for 14 seconds, and now your defense is back on the field again. And that doesn't make sense. That's complementary football that did not exist there in Pittsburgh last year. And I'm sure that had to drive Mike Tomlin crazy, and that's why they got to fix it.
Okafor started 15 games at right tackle last year. Yeah. Played in all 16. 15 starts at right tackle, but you take him and you move him to the left side. It's not as easy as it sounds.
No.
And it's been explained by some in the past in very graphic ways involving toilet paper and left hand versus right hand. But, that's going to be part of it. Can he hold up there? Can Zach Banner hold up? Can David DeCastro stay healthy? What are they going to do at center after all those years of Pouncey and Ben together? And we thought that the two were tied together. Remember the images of Pouncey and Ben Roethlisberger sitting on the bench after the loss to the Browns in the playoffs, and that sense that this is it. It's done for both of them. And I think it was more of a surprise that Roethlisberger stayed and Pouncey left than if it had been flipped. But and Roethlisberger always made it seem like the moment Pouncey goes, he goes. So a hell of an experiment for the Steelers. If it works, hey, maybe they will be in L.A.
I don't think
when we're there in mid-February.
You're right. It's just a big if. That's what it is. I think they're, by the way of the draft and the guys they got on the roster, I think they're comfortable with the guys. It's just got to be healthy, and can we get together and set the right attitude at camp? But between Okafor, Banner, you could put those two at tackle. Dotson, who was a young guy who played guard last year, he can play guard. Then they're going to have to figure out the other guard position. They drafted an NFL-ready guard. I want just to make sure it's the third round, or it was the third round, and Kendrick Green out of Illinois. So he could play maybe, Mike, and be there. But the center position, is going to be an unproven commodity, and we'll see who that is. But that's going to be the key to their football team. I think we're all over it. It's going to be about that aspect. Can they run the ball, protect him? And that's going to dictate Big Ben's future and really the status of this football team.
You've mentioned in the past the intensity of their training camp practices. I think they need to be even more intense this year to the point of chippy. I think that defense needs to do everything they can do to draw out the best and the nastiest of the offensive line if they're going to be ready to go.
Sure. I agree with you 100%. I would think that's Mike Tomlin knows what to dial up here. And that this is the kind of group where, hey, after the first few days of training camp, okay, the O-line's coming together a little bit, where he talks to his D-line and is like, let's give it to these guys a little bit. I got to see if they can hold up, in week 6 against the Ravens. And then, the next week we got to play the Browns and Myles Garrett and everybody. We got to be testing these guys on a daily basis and see what they're made of. I would think that's something that Mike Tomlin's going to put his defense to task on during training camp.
By the way, apologies to Matt Filer. I said Kevin Filer earlier. They know who we mean. Who's the next quarterback after 2021? if Ben is gone? Do they go rookie? Or, hey, I'm fascinated by what could happen with Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah.
It's not like the guy wasn't going to be a first-round pick.
No, I know.
He was going to be. The just question was, where was he coming off the board? Washington took him 15th overall. It didn't work out. The Steelers get him for nothing, and they get this year where they can just see what he can do.
Yeah.
And you may end up getting yourself your future quarterback without having to draft him in any round. He's a guy that just landed in your laps after Washington gave up on him.
No, I mean, there's talent. There's a big-time arm. You know, there's size and an athlete that's better than people wanted to give him credit for coming out in the draft as far as Dwayne Haskins is concerned. And to me, he's the only guy that has potential to actually really be something as a starter. Not to say he will be, I don't know, but he's got the potential. He does. Yeah, I don't look at Mason Rudolph or Joshua Dobbs, any of those, no disrespect. They're backup quarterbacks for me. I don't look at them as like a guy that can be the future maybe at some point. Haskins, I do think, has that potential, but it's all the other stuff. You know, let alone he hasn't played a lot, right, Mike? I mean, it's everything. Now, can he dial it in and be a pro and do all the right things that we heard kind of the negatives about in Washington? Can he flip that around? I hope he can.
And remember when he was coming out in the draft a couple of years ago and they were saying he lacks mobility, we pointed out here, well, no, he has mobility behind the line of scrimmage, and we compared him to Ben
Big Ben,
Roethlisberger.
right? I know.
The ability to move left and right and extend the play that way, not necessarily pull the ball down and take off and run, but extend left and right, buy time that way, and he has a guy that he could watch and learn from in 2021. It creates an intriguing option for the Steelers beyond this season.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.